Good afternoon, my elders.
Amen.
It's a pleasure for us to be invited to be part of your meeting and to discuss a few things that we have noticed that we need to either work on, improve, or get better at. You will soon realize that you cannot do much without technology in one aspect or the other. The church is growing young. Our kids are born holding these things. They know how to use this without even understanding how to speak. So where we are going, we need to also be where the church is. Let's not get left behind and then end up being irrelevant and fail to connect with the people that we are supposed to lead to Christ. So what we have done is we have realized that technology can be used as a tool in doing our work. So we have a toolbox that we have come up with, which we are going to quickly discuss. Because of time limitations, we are going to highlight a few things and then go back to those 4 main points that we want to talk about. So there are issues of security. As we use these devices, we need to understand the implications at the security level. What does it mean if somebody gets access to your email account, to your banking account? The effects of those things, we need to be aware of them, because if we are not, we'll end up in serious trouble. So technology is good, but let's not forget that there's the other side, where things can go very bad very quickly. So that is something that we endeavor to make sure the church understands and is learning. We also want to develop systems that help the church do what it needs to do more efficiently, faster, more accurately. And we'll talk about some of those things. The other thing that we also endeavor to do as SID IT is to make sure we build systems that will make the running of these systems much more affordable. We used to have a time and a space where each conference had to buy servers to run this and so on. We have realized that we need to change the model. Instead of all of us buying equipment, why not build a data center that is well managed, that has experts who have knowledge in managing systems, running it, and all you need to do on your end, instead of buying the server, is to make sure you have good internet connection. And then the rest of the systems run from there. They are maintained well, and they do well. Then the other point that we also realized is procurement. When we each buy for ourselves and God for us all, we waste a lot of money. When we centralize purchasing, like we have done at the SID, we are able to pull a lot of muscle with the suppliers and the providers. That way we save a lot of money, and I think that's good stewardship, if you ask me. So what you buy at 100 Rand, we can negotiate to buy it at 50 Rand because of the scale, the volumes that we are buying at. So that's one other thing that we also look at. Then another important aspect is training, making sure people are able to use the tools that are available. It's one thing for us to be happy that we've set up this, set up that, but if people are not able to use it, it is next to useless. So now let's quickly look at the 4 points, the 4 focus areas that we want to look at today. The first one is event management. We all as a church run events in one form or the other. They are as critical as sessions and as small as Sabbath school classes. In between is everything that happens. And we have seen that there's a lot of nightmare at times with the way we manage events. So we have a problem. Let's look at XCOMs, for instance. I'm not sure about the other divisions, but when we do our XCOMs, we used to print huge, humongous volumes of minutes and attachments and so on. And we realized that the amount of money we were spending in doing that was a lot of money. And unfortunately, after the session, those things would be left in hotel rooms because nobody wants to carry that whole big binder to their office. So we realized there was some sort of wastage that was happening there. So what we did, we copied from what the GC was doing. We set up our XCOM online. So all your action items are online. All you need to do is to bring your devices to the XCOM, click on the action number, it opens up, and you are able to follow as the chairman goes through the meeting. This has saved us a lot of time and a lot of money in the process. And it also provides information like your daily schedules. So instead of printing these things, they are all online. You can have access to them even after the event. So if you go back to your unions 2 years from now, you want to see what was being discussed in the other XCOM, you are able to, it's an archive as well. So that is one thing that has improved. Sessions became a legal background, especially here in SID. What I mean is we had lawyers, and we have lawyers, we have lawyers We have those who are our learned friends who know a lot about everything, who will make sure if the session doesn't seem to be going the way they want it to go, they'll come up with all sorts of technical issues to challenge the process. So what we started with was just being able to control who comes into a session and who goes out. What we did is we managed to get a QR code onto the badges, and then we linked it to people's faces. So as you come into the session, you were able to see that you have not changed your head, you're not given to another person to come into the session. We had problems, simple things like that. But if it was a session and somebody stands up and says, point of order, Mr. Chair, I am sure that there's so and so in this room who's not supposed to be here. That can cause a lot of trouble, legal challenges even after the session. So this system has really helped us. Another thing that was introduced was the electronic voting. Instead of using our yellow slips and our red slips and all the paper counting, it's easier when you have fewer numbers and very well-disciplined Adventists. Then you are fine. Let the numbers increase, and then let somebody come to the chair and say, Mr. Chair, I move a motion that the numbers that have been counted are not accurate. Then all of a sudden, you have to recount votes. That's time. And sooner or later, a 3-day session extends to 5 days, and the whole thing collapses. And you can imagine the effects of a collapsed conference session. So what has now happened is we have come up with a system that takes 30 seconds to do that kind of thing. Everybody pulls out their device, they select what they want to select, and the results are there on the screen in 30 seconds. It can be verified electronically, it can be challenged in a court of law, it stands all the scrutiny that can be brought against it. So that's one thing that has really made life interesting. So sessions now take way less than they used to, because the vote of 700 delegates is counted in 30 seconds. Nothing beats that. All right. So the other system that we are going to talk about now is the e-vote. We have outcomes that have been running in our office via email. That's the problem. And that problem has led to a lot of emails coming in and forth, and back and forth. We are traveling staff, and you have no time to be all together and do an actual outcome. And there are I know there are guidelines on what can be done via e-outcome and so on. So we realized email was not efficient. The secretaries had to collect the emails, count who voted, and so on and so forth. So an online system has been developed, which we are going to demo now. I'll ask Maria to come and share with us that system. Okay.
This is evil. Thank you, Tambi. This is the electronic voting system. This is the admin UI, user interface. So what an admin can do is to create the, okay, I need to log in again, sorry. Okay. What an admin can do is to create a committee. Why is not doing? Okay. So we have a committee for outcomes, for anything you want to have, any department. So now we will use this committee. It has only 3 members, so we can create a vote, and you will see. I don't know what is doing that. Okay, so we will go here and we will create adcom IT. So in this field, introduction letter, you will type what you need to have your members to receive in the email they will receive. So you will add the introduction. You will type the introduction here, and when you create the e-vote, this will be sent in an email. And here we will add the actions. So action 1 will be vote to vote. Salary increment. That's a good one. So the whereas it will be to vote 19. The voting process will be done in the deadline. So it's not when the people finish voting. It will be done when the deadline is done. So now we need, it will fail if not, it doesn't have quorum. And it will be okay if everybody or more of the quorum will vote. So we can also go here and see the reports and export them in a PDF. Yeah, when it's closed, you will be able to do that and see the minutes. Let's see. So you will receive, when the process is finished, you will also receive all the actions we had and who were the members who participated. That's it. So you can continue. Okay.
All right. So I think you have a good idea of how this system is going to work. So far, this is what we have managed to do. There are a few other things, input from the Secretariat that we've brought into the system to make sure it's compliant. Our aim is not to change how we do things. It's just to make sure we do them a little bit more efficient than we are currently doing them. So I will now try and continue with our presentation. So that was e-vote. We have seen the demo. We are now going to look at the Sabbath School quarterlies. Right, so we were presented with a challenge by one conference. The conference said, we are tired of people selling quarterlies on Sabbath, collecting monies. We are telling people shouldn't buy, but they are okay to buy quarterlies. It causes a bit of a confusion. How can we solve this problem? So we decided, okay, let's set up a system that will make sure people can buy quarterlies when it's not Sabbath. And this is the solution that we kind of got. So what happens is that, let me just move over here. A member goes onto a site or an app and they place their order. They say, I want to buy 2 quarterlies, this type of quarterly for the kids, for the parents and so on. And then on number 2, that order is sent. It's received at the conference. The conference receives all the church's orders, puts them together, and then when they process them, they send it either to the ABC or to the union or whoever is responsible for producing the quarterlies. And once the order is processed, the member at all stages is able to track where is my order, what has happened to it. So what I'll do now is I'm going to show you how that system works. I think I can move here. Close this one. All right, so the first thing is a church member logs into the system. I'm going to log in with my, okay, here actually. So this is an ordinary church member logging into the system. And they click on place new order. it opens up a nice page that tells them how the process is going to work, and they accept that they've understood. They click on next, and then it says to them, what do you want to order? So we have the inventory of all the options in different languages that they can select from. So let's say they want one Ellen White notes, they want a teacher's edition for the adult English study guide, they want a primary lesson, then they also want an Afrikaans one, and they also want a Sesotho one and a Xhosa one. So as they do this, the system is calculating how much it will cost them. Then they can also choose to either have it couriered to them via a courier, or if the church is going to collect at the conference or at the ABC, those options are available. Then they click on next. Then the system says, okay, what you have ordered amounts to so much. Can you please go and deposit this amount or do an EFT electronically, or those who come with your Echo Caches, whatever, and send us a proof of that payment. So the church member can then go and attach that proof of payment. I'm going to just quickly find a proof of payment here. And then once they attach their proof of payment, they click on next. Then it says to them, what church do you belong to? So the conference churches are known. What's your name? What's the church's telephone number? If it's there, it's put in there. What's your cell phone number? It's put in there. Church clerk's name, if it's there. The postal address. I'm going to put my address there. And so on. Are there any other notes that you want to attach? No. Then submit your order. Then you say, okay. So this order is now received at the conference. Then the conference verifies that the money is really in the account and everything is in order. Then the user can also download a receipt of what they've ordered. So this is a summary of what they've ordered. So if you remember what we ordered, the close-up and so on, and all the quarterlies that we ordered and how much it cost us. So after this, what then happens, now I'm going to go to the conference side. This is what the conference sees, which is the interesting part for me, at least, is now to see all the orders that have come into the system. So this system is live, by the way. This is not a demo. It's being used by Cape Conference, and they are using it quite well. So these are all the orders that have come through their system. And what I like about it is there's an analysis page which shows you how much has been collected, what's pending, how many orders have been fulfilled, and there's even a graph to see which quarterlies are moving faster than the other ones. Because this is critical information for those who are in publishing and who know how the production of these things work. And then it even shows us a graph, when are the most quarterlies bought, so that we make sure our stock is ready for those periods. So this system basically also collects a lot of our statistics as well, as far as this is concerned. So as we can see, Cape Conference has a total order book of about 224,000 Rand as we speak. And this is automatically then submitted to the union. So all of these orders are then processed at their union, and I think the elder there is nodding his head. They get to the union, and then they are able to fulfill these at their church level. So this is an exciting system that we have seen that has reduced a lot of hassles as people try and get quarterlies when we get to the end of each and every quarter. All right, so let's go back to our presentation. That is Sabbath School quarterlies. Let's talk about reporting. Reporting has been a nightmare from the time I started working in the church. I've seen problems with reporting. Reporting is one of the biggest nightmares. I'm not sure if others can testify. You ask for reports, they don't come. Or people don't understand, why is this report needed? I don't know whether it's lack of understanding or it's just the hassle of filling in forms. So what we've done is we have come up with a system that's online that will help us with reporting. It starts at church level. Let me follow the presentation. Okay, the problem is we don't have statistics. That's the problem. So decision making is difficult. We don't know how many ladies are there in the conference so that we prepare materials for ladies. We don't know how many children are there, and so on and so forth. So this is what we are trying to address. So the churches report, put information into a system. The conference gets that information. They don't need to re-enter the information. I've seen duplication of work where whatever has been gathered at the church level goes to the conference compiles it, that's a lot of work, and then sends it to the union, compiles it, then sends it to the division, and then we compile it, and then send to the there are lots of possibilities of errors in that system. This system, the information, the data is collected at source. That reduces our errors. It's done once, and collation is automated. So as we do this, as information goes up, it's more accurate than if it is passing through too many hands. So what we have managed to do is as we develop the solution, we gathered the requirements for the system. What are we trying to do? We looked at the reports that each of our departments needs. Then we said, okay, we now know what we need. Let's develop a solution. Got the programmers, Maria is in charge of them, managed to work on a system, and now we are in the testing and the launching phase. That's where we are now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask Maria to come again and help us with the demo for the reporting system. Okay, so I think you can appreciate the automation that has gone into making sure this is not a burden. So and what I also like about it, I think we also forgot to add, at the conference can also create its form to collect the data from the church. But it's only the conference that can validate the data and make sure it then moves up in the process, so that at least the control point becomes the conference level, which is exactly where it should be. So this system has a lot of potential. We are still working on it. There are a few things that are left, but I think about 90% of what we need done has already been done. And the beauty of it is not only for the personal ministry department. It can be used by any department at any level. And that will make sure we reduce the burden of the amount of paperwork that people need to do to give us statistics. Once we have information, as they say, information is power, we will be able to then make informed decisions. So these are some of the little challenges that we have noted that we are currently trying to work to resolve. And I think because we still have a little bit of time, I'm going to address a few more issues. Maybe what we can do, let's discuss what we've presented first. Then if we still have a few more minutes, then I can address a few more talking points that we have. There are hands here. Yes, Pastor.
Maybe what would be an expected common question, those who are in rural areas where there is no availability and even affordability and the knowledge of technology, what would you advise us to do to help those churches? And yes. Yeah.
The way we have looked at it is that at least all our conferences have internet and access to technology. So churches can be able to send their data to the conference, and the conference must be able to execute some of these things on their behalf. But that concern is real, but the fortunate thing is, as you notice how our cell phones are becoming connected even in the rural areas, that is a big advantage of addressing that challenge. So as we continue to go ahead, we don't want to be left behind and say, okay, now everyone has internet, but we have no tools for people to utilize. So we have tried, I know there will be teething issues, but we are hoping that will help address that. Yes, Pastor.
Just the next one, when are you planning to roll out training? It's a very good program, very good, I think, online system, instrument. It will help us to expedite the work.
Right. Training, Pastor, is going to start, some of these systems, once we are starting to roll the actual systems out, they will go along with training, because we don't expect people to use it without getting training first. So as we roll out new systems, it will be done at the union level, conference level, and so on. But we have a structure. At least I know that all our unions have IT personnel who come to our meetings during the year. We will make sure we follow those processes to make sure all of us are trained. Yes, any other?
My question was actually regarding how that system is completely on the server.
Yes. Okay, and then just to add, the systems also are designed to also work even on the cell phone. So if you have a small little screen, it will adjust itself to make sure it runs there as well. Yeah. All right, is that all? Okay, thank you very much. I will take a few more minutes to address one of the talking points that I mentioned, the security part of things. We have realized, we've had cases where money has been stolen from the church because we were not up to date with how security works. A simple starting point. I think if I asked us to raise hands, how many of you have received an email that says, I'm traveling, I got robbed, and I need you to send me some money? Yes, we have all received those one time or the other. So to address that challenge, we realized one of the things that makes it difficult for that to happen is to make sure that your email and your password are not the only things you use to get into your information. Most of us who have done online banking know this. Your username and password are not everything. You need something else. Either you receive an SMS, some people have little tokens that it says, okay, if you really are who you say you are, please enter the thing that we've sent to you. It's called two-factor authentication. Elders, if your email as you use it now and officially doesn't have that feature, you have a challenge. Because sooner or later, somebody will get your password. And somebody will log into your email account and they will send us an email on your behalf saying that you have been robbed and we need to send you money. But fortunately, most of the time it has been known, this person has not left their office, they're actually here. Then people try and run around to correct that. The honest truth of the matter is that any device that's connected to the internet, I don't care whether it's the latest iPhone, it's the MacBook, it's your Windows laptop, as long as it is connected to the internet, it can be hacked. That's the sad reality that we live in. So we need to be aware that these things are a reality. And our work as IT personnel is getting more and more frightening, because the more you realize how vulnerable we are, the more you start asking yourself, what do we do? I used to be very worried. Then I realized, you know what? Security is not found in the latest antivirus or in the latest technique. Security is only found in Christ, actually. Because the devil knows your password. Elders, did you hear what I said? The devil knows your password. So security is not in all these things that we try to do, but security, the real security is only found in Christ. That realization calmed me down a lot. I started smiling a little bit more and realizing that we can do what we need to do, but the real security is found in Christ. But that does not mean we should now leave our houses open, our cars unlocked, and our bank accounts and passwords taken care of. It only means that we should do what we need to do and only realize that real security is found in Christ. So that is one aspect that I've managed to remember to share with us as far as security is concerned. Let me just go back to the other aspects that I wanted to make sure we talk about. All right. The SID Cloud project. We are now at the point where we have finished the installation of the hardware. So if you come to our SID office, you'll find we have the best servers money can buy. We thank God that the SID found value in this project. We have installed wonderful machines there that will enable, from our conference level, our union level, to be able to not need to buy hardware to implement solutions. So what that means is that at the union level, at the conference level, you will just need to make sure you have good internet. Once you have good internet, everything else will fall into place. We are getting to a point where XCOMs will not be held in person as we are doing now. Things will be done online. And all that is needed for those things to be possible is a good internet connection. The technology is already there. And I struggle at times as we implement some of this technology, because nothing can replace face-to-face interaction. Nothing can replace shaking somebody's hand. But as we go on, it becomes more and more difficult and expensive to maintain those traditional methods. So let us make sure we are aware of these new things that are coming. Resistance to these changes can only cause problems for you elders, because unfortunately, it's coming and it's coming to stay. There were times when we didn't need PowerPoints. All you needed was a chart, and you could write have your presentation and it goes. But now we all have to be hooked up to something to work. So let us make sure we are receptive to changes. Let's be willing to learn new things. I know it's not easy for some people, but it's an attitude that I think we can work on. I think I've utilized a bit of our time. I think we can end our presentation here. Unless there are questions, I think there's a hand there at the back.
I want to ask on e-voting. Did you call it e-voting?
Yes. You mean the outcome one or the device one or the session one?
The session one.
Okay, all right.
Can you explain in line of San Antonio?
Okay.
We tried to do
it and there was
until we ended up going to the
that.
manual.
Okay.
Explain in light of that and
All right.
tell us whether you have improved what was
All
in
right.
line of that.
So what happened in San Antonio was that tests were done in the dorm, right? And the devices were working fine during the testing and everything. There were powerful access points, Wi-Fi access points in the dorm that were unfortunately switched on when the real voting started. And those devices interfered with the reception of the responses from the devices. So that was the one major problem that was faced there. So now what we have done is when we come to a venue like we want to have our meeting here, we come ahead of time and we test to make sure we don't have interference, and if there is, we try to deal with it. But basically that is the summary of what caused our problem in San Antonio. Okay, thank you, Pastor.
And thanks, Maria. And thanks, Tembi. And the church said what? Amen. Amen. Thank you. So basically, as May Colony is setting up a machine, she just wants to show us some website in about 10, 15 minutes, then we go out for break. And thanks, Tembi, for saving that time. We're going to ask for time at the end, but now we can utilize it now. You can go ahead and set up. So basically what is happening with the report, and I'm happy Maria is here, is that for us to have like voice of prophecy, what do you call it, by the way? Bible Correspondence School, number of enrollments this quarter, number of graduates this quarter, number of baptisms this quarter. What happens is this church in Zimbabwe, Harare, will have a voice of prophecy event and whatever, it's over. Or maybe at the end of their quarter, they are giving a quarterly report. We had so many enrollments, we had so many graduations, and we had so many baptisms. The moment they punch it on the phone or on the computer, that figure goes to the conference, that figure jumps to the union, that figure goes to the division straight away. So that the permutations, the union director does not need now to sit down and say, hey, let me compile all the reports from this conference, whatever. Once the source punches in, the software is made in such a way it will categorize per conference, categorize per union, and categorize per division. So that me as division director, I'm not waiting for somebody to say, when is your report coming and what have you? The system will actually email you to say, your churches have not yet sent the reports. We are now giving you 30 days to close. Once it closes, it means we can never have your statistics again. So it will give you a window to do that. Just at the conference, maybe you can help me while at the conference level, for now, we are going to start with the conference director at that level. We don't know whichever way the conference director is going to collect the information. But this is the level we are starting with. The conference punches the figure. When the conference punches the figure, it goes to the division, calculates the union report, sends a report to the union to say, your report this quarter for voice of prophecy is this one. And if there is any follow-up, and if there is no conference that has reported, you'll be alerted, the conference will be alerted, and they'll be given time to say, we need the report by such time. The machine will do this without us writing emails. Are you getting the point? Yes. But then the beauty of this is a conference director, when you are ready, tell me. I mean, Professor, I'm inspired now. Yes. The beauty of this thing is the conference director can add their churches to the system. Like you can add the Pioneer Church, you can Philadelphia Church and whatever. So that the conference director now is only depending on the pastor. The pastor will do his permutations in his district, punches straight into the system, then it forms up the conference report. So it is important for each conference to be able to put each church online and each pastor online, and then train those churches. You'll have a few more that are not yet on, but the majority of those, let them do it for you. Are we? You want to say something? Okay. Is this a good idea, or we should continue with our conventional method? You'll be the only and the last and forever hand.
And maybe the only advice that we can give to the higher organization in this case is the division.
Yes.
Is not to change the goalposts on deadlines.
Yes.
Once you agree that the due date
is
this, it should not be changed whether there is pressure from GC.
Amen.
Because that makes some reports to be left out when we begin changing goalposts.
8 days before end of quarter, it will send the conference director a notification to say your report is due in 8 days. Then it begins to do a countdown that you'll be seeing 30 days to go, 20 days to go, and what have you. So the system can be sending him emails to remind him the notification for a due day. Now, at the end of the quarter, the system now gives the conference director 30 days to submit the report. And again, it communicates with him to say, look, you now have, the system will close in 20 days. The system until it says, boom, closed. After that date, it's not Pastor Ngwaru, it's not you who saying to the conference we have closed. The system will then say, closed. Data cannot be edited anymore. But within the 30 days, you can submit data and you can retrieve data back and edit it and resubmit. But after 30 days of closure, we only depend with either the zero you have put or whatever amount you have put at that stage. So this will not be human managed. It will be systems managed. Thanks a lot for that. I'm waiting for May Colon. I promise, it's very bad to lie. We're told Jesus does not lie. If he says you are not there, you disappear.
Pastor Ngora, it's a good system, but I guess it hasn't yet been fully explained. You said as soon as the local church punches it in, it's going to go right to the division.
Yeah.
As soon as the local church personal director punches in it'll go straight to the division under the name of his church. And then if there's a problem, the SID will send information to the union or to the conference to say that this church what I'm trying to say is, if it goes from the local church straight to the division, it bypasses the conference and the union. And isn't there any form of stop check-in to make sure that the church has reported correctly before it goes up higher?
You have been inspired. You have been inspired. So basically what happens is, church reports, but before the information jumps over, the conference becomes a sifting area. Are you getting the point? And when the report goes to the division, it does not go there as a Highfield church. The statistic comes as Central Zimbabwe Conference. It will not list. The listing of churches will end at conference level. That is where it ends. From there, the figure goes by the name of the conference and the union. Okay, thanks very much for that. I'm sure you are ready.